Hey guys, this is Sam from the Chess Beast and I welcome you all to the coverage of Olympiad 2020. So, India was paired against Indonesia today and it was really a tense fight. The Indonesian team put up some great resistance, but it was India who came at top at last. There were two special games which we will try to cover here. The one is between Bhakti Kulkarni and Olia Medina, and the other one is played by Prag, our Indian superstar. This game is actually between Bhakti and Odila Medina. Quite a tough name, of course. So yeah, let's just get into the game and then we'll talk about what the other players did and what is India's situation after this round. So Bhakti was white and she opened with d4. Her opponent played e6, c4. Okay, with this move e6, you are of course trying to go for this d5 line, but this e6 move is very flexible because if white plays e4, then you can jump in with d5 and get into the French, or even after c4, you can go f5 and get into a Dutch. So this e6 move is of course a very flexible move and you are not showing your intentions right away. So c4, knight f6, knight c3, bishop b4, the Nimzo defense, e3, b6, bishop d2, always standard stuff, nothing new here, bishop d3, d5, cd, d, and knight e5. This is a very common idea. As you can see the arrows, with knight e5, white actually tries to play f4, perhaps castles, rook f3 and bringing the other rook on h3 and trying to do something on the king side. Black goes knight d7 challenging the e5 knight, and white goes f4 with the plan as mentioned. C5, rook c1, knight e4, castles. And here of course the move is knight f6, which is known to most of us, but here black choose to play f6, which is a sort of dubious move. White's pieces are really doing good, right? So all these pieces, and you play this f6 move and you actually create this diagonal as a weakness. So with that hint in mind, it's white to move. If you need, then pause the video. But let's see if you can play like Bhakti did. So yeah, it's white to move. So I hope guys that you have tried it, and if you came up with this move knight to, sorry, not that. If you came up with the move knight to e4, then that's brilliant. That's the move. The point being that if you take on e5, then bishop c4 comes in. When after king h8, you go knight f7 and put this dangerous fork. And if you play the move which was played in the game, that is f takes on e5, then white has two options actually. She can go knight d6 and knight g5. The latter one, of course, knight g5 looks more appealing because after knight g5 you attack all these, on the queen side. H7 pawn is really weak. This move was actually mentioned by Sagar Shah in the stream, but yeah, Bhakti chose the first option, that is the knight d6. And Bhakti most probably wants to exchange the bishop and just exchange the bishop for the knight, and may perhaps go on to open the position, and with the bishop pair, white must be better. So black decides to trade off one pair of bishop, and after bishop d2, queen d2, e takes on d4. Okay, perhaps c d4 was also an option, but thereafter knight b7, queen b8, maybe bishop a6 does the work, but still the position is very complex. But Odila chooses to play e takes on d4, and after knight b7, queen c7, white takes on c5, and after b takes on c5, e takes on d4, it is white who is actually better. But yeah, still a lot of work to do. It is not so easy to win right away. Bhakti showed some great technique here. After queen b6, Bhakti plays queen c2, double attack on h7 and c5 pawn, as you can see by the arrows. And after c4, black actually gives up the h7 pawn, and she hopes to get some counterplay via f file, e file, and b file. But bishop h7, king h8, and Bhakti was smart enough. First, she defended her pawn and she was not in a hurry to win. And after rook f6, perhaps black wants to go rook h6 or something. White plays this good move, bishop h5. The idea of bishop f5. The idea of bishop f5 is that let me show. Say knight f8. First of all you attack that d7 knight, which is an loose piece. So first you attack that, and then you play queen c3 with the idea of bringing your queen on h3. And the point of bishop f5 can be explained here. The first point is that the rook cannot take on f5 first of all, but because after queen h3, white would just rule. Let me just show this line. After queen h3, and this rook is just going to fall. And the second point is that when the queen comes to h3, it will actually come with a check. What I mean to say is that if the bishop would have been on h7, then after knight f8, she had to move that bishop anywhere. And if she hadn't, if say for example black never played knight f8 and the black went on to play rook a f8 or something, then after queen h3 it actually doesn't come up with a check because of this bishop on h7, which is actually blocking. So this extra tempo may matter in the later stage. And after rook 8, black tried to infiltrate via e file, to go to rook e2 or do something on that. White goes queen f3, and now again the threat is to go queen h5 and give this double attack from this square to this square, and the h8 queen, and you cannot take on f5 because rook takes on f5. Queen h3 comes in and picks up the rook. So black takes the pawn. She is trying for some desperate attempts, but it's already game over after queen h5. King g8. White first place bishop h7. Knight. Okay, if you had have taken on e8 straight away, then black could have taken on f5, and maybe black gets some counterplay there, because you don't have a check straight away, right? Because say for example, if you take on e8, perhaps black could take on f5, and say this queen doesn't have a check right away. um, okay, maybe it's still winning for white, but still it's not that easy. But yeah, first bishop h7, knight h7, and now going queen e8. The point is that after knight f8, white goes rook f2, and after queen b2, f5 comes in. The difference is that if the rook would have been, if this rook would have been on f5, then f5 wouldn't have come, and this pawn gives so much extra space here, and this ensures that white is winning. So you see this small intricacies, you exchange the bishop anywhere, but trading the bishop on your terms is something which you can learn from these games. Okay, black goes on to play c3. It's all over actually, but still g4. And now you can see this f5 pawn, how it is so useful because of this pawn majority rolling in. White gets this beautiful advantage here. And after rook c6, rook c1, rook c8, queen e3, queen b6, picking up the pawn, queen b8, g5, queen b1, rook c1, queen b5, and now comes f6, and after gf6, queen d7, white gets rook g2, king h8, and queen h6, and it was at this point that black resigned the game. The point is simple, that knight h7 is met by rook g7 when you pick up the queen or the rook or the knight actually. So yeah, that is the game. White played some brilliant stuff here. Bhakti was so good. She didn't miss any chance. First of all, when her opponent played f6, she jumped in to take on e4, and she just played brilliantly to exploit that f6 move. And later, when she got the advantage, she didn't hurry, and she didn't. She had a good position even after queen h5 and taking on e8, but she first went for bishop h7 check so that she gets that f5 pawn extra, f5 pawn move extra, and then bringing playing moves like bishop f5, getting an extra tempo. So a brilliant game played by Bhakti indeed. And if I talk about the other players, then Prague won the game as I mentioned. Prague played brilliant chess. Anand and Anand was actually held to a draw. Vidit was at some point completely losing, but then managed to win somehow. And if I talk about the women's section, then Harika was also losing, but she managed to get some play and held to draw. Even Harika had some moves in some point where she could have won, but yeah, that is tough to miss. And Vantika, she was completely losing, but she found some brilliant tactical motives in the position and held her opponent to draw. So yeah, that's the game. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe, and do comment on the comment box so that we know how you like the video, what to improve. And for more chess videos and for the complete coverage of Olympiad, please do watch the Chess Beast. Thanks for watching.